Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel Tech TBA. In today's video, we're going to talk about the storage indexes in Oracle Exadata. We'll cover about the concepts of storage indexes and what are the scenarios to use the storage indexes and what are the pros and cons. Let's get started. When you hear about the storage indexes, then we will have some common perceptions like the storage index is similar to a database index that exists only on the Exadata storage server. And the other perception is the storage index will identify the records with the values and return to the database. It's similar to database index. And the storage index can be created manually as per our wish. And the storage index are static and stored on the storage server. Unfortunately, these are not the correct one. Then what is a storage index? The storage index is the feature of Exadata storage server which works the way to eliminate the disk IO. So this is exactly an opposite way of a traditional database index. In the traditional database indexes, it will have the metadata about wherever the data are exist in the data blocks. So whenever you run the query, it will refer the index, it will go to a particular block and it will pull the data. So in the storage indexes, whenever you run the query, the storage server refers the storage index and it will skip off all the data blocks which does not contain the data and it will return only the possible data to the back to the storage server. So how does it achieved? For every 1 MB of disk storage unit, the underlying data that corresponding min value, max value and the null values, those are recorded in the storage indexes. Using that metadata, whenever you run the query, the storage region correspondingly check the metadata and it will skip off the entire storage region if the value does not match. And very important is that this storage indexes is stored only on the memory of the Exadata server. That means that it is a completely stateless one. And whenever the cell server gets restarted, the storage indexes gets recreated automatically. And you can create the storage indexes up to 8 columns inside the table. So let's have a quick example with the HR.employee table. So I have an employee table which has the employee ID, name, age, department, salary and the employment type. So when this particular table that is stored in the storage index, it will break into multiple 1 MB disk storage unit and the corresponding that metadata will be stored as min value, max value and whether it contains any null. For example, if you look at the employee ID for the first block, the min value is 101 and the max value is 110 and the null value is n. Whereas if you look at the salary, it has the null value set for y for the second particular block. So this is how the storage indexes are organized on top of the particular table. And it is completely dynamic and you don't have any control on under what particular column you will have to create the storage indexes. So whenever you run any particular query on the Exadata server, that particular data will go into the storage server using the IDB protocol. When the IDB protocol is passed to the storage server, the corresponding predicate that is with the where condition that also get passed to the storage server. So the storage server will have an idea on what is the particular column and what is the condition I need to fetch. So using that, it will refer the storage index and it will refer the corresponding data blocks that goes to the table. In our case, we are looking for the age which is greater than 42. In the first and third block, you have the corresponding values that can be matched. It may not be the exact one, but it can contain the data, which is 42 to 59 and 25 to 47. Second particular disk storage unit, you don't have any matching records, so that is completely skipped. So the storage server goes to the first and third disk storage units and pull the data, all the corresponding data, and gets to the storage server where it just returns it. So this way it just eliminates wherever the disk storage units, whichever does not contain the data, thereby it's improving the performance. Now let's look at the criteria to use the storage index. The first is the Exadata Smart Scan. The query should use the Exadata Smart Scan, and very important is that the optimizer should use a full table scan. It should not use any of the database indexes, because when you use the database indexes, it works a completely different manner. And the second one is the predicate filtering. So you should have at least one predicate class that has to be specified in the query so that the storage indexes can be used. The third one is the simple operators. So you can use the operators like equal to, less than or greater than, between, or is null or is not null. These are the operators that are supported to use the storage indexes. You could have noticed there is no like parameter that is specified there. So let's look at what are the inclusive and exclusive for the storage indexes. First one is the storage index supports hybrid columnar compression. We talked about hybrid columnar compression in our previous video, just refer this. And even though your table is using a hybrid columnar compression, you can still run your queries with the storage indexes. And the storage indexes also support multi-column predicates. So you can specify the where condition on multiple columns, still your storage indexes will work. And it supports the database encryption as well. So even though your database is encrypted, you can still use the storage indexes. And the same goes for the partition tables as well. And the storage indexes can work on multiple query as well. So even though your query runs on a parallel, still storage indexes can be supported, and it can also support the bind variables that is passed by the application. And it also supports the joins. You can specify the storage index predicate that is under the subqueries as well. Then what are the limitations? First one is the storage index does not support CLOP. That's a large objects that is not supported. And the storage index doesn't support not equal to operator. And the wildcard operator like and percentage, those are when those values are passed, it doesn't use the storage indexes. And as I said already, you can create the storage index on top of 8 particular columns, and you don't have any control on how it is getting created. But automatically the storage server will track the usage of the particular table, and then it will create the storage indexes on top of the table. That too limited only up to 8 columns. And as I said already, the storage index is completely a dynamic one. So whenever there is a cell SRV gets restarted, the storage indexes also gets restarted. So initially it will take a while to rebuild your storage indexes after the cell SRV restart. So until then there will be some performance impact. And the last option is we had some false positives before the version of 11.2, but in the latest versions those bugs are eliminated. Now, how do I understand whether my query is using the storage index or not? So there are a couple of ways where you can find out. The first one is you can check the cell physical IO byte saved by the storage index. That is there on the $session stat and sysstat tables. So you can query the metadata before and after the query, and you can see the value of cell physical IO bytes saved by the storage index. When that is being set, then that you can just consider that your particular query is using the storage indexes, and that much amount of workload that is being reduced by the storage indexes. Alternatively, you can enable the trace through underscore cell storage index diag mode that is set to 2. The trace file will contain more information about what are the storage indexes that are being used, under what are the columns, and what are the where conditions that are passed to the storage servers. So either you can refer the cell physical IO byte saved by the storage index, or you can enable the trace and find out more details about the storage indexes. Let's have a quick summary about our discussion of storage indexes. The storage indexes works the reverse way of traditional database indexes, that basically works by the way of eliminating the disk IO. So the underlying disk storage unit is divided into 1 MB blocks, and the min value, max value, and the null values, those are recorded in the storage index metadata. And the storage index is completely dynamic, and it's supported up to 8 columns on top of the table. The query should use the Exadata Smart Scan to use the storage indexes, and we should have at least one predicate filtering that has to be specified. The storage indexes is supported for HCC, encryption, partitions, and bind variables. But at the same time, the wildcard predicates and the CLUBs and etc. those are not supported in the storage indexes. You can use the cell physical IO bytes saved by the storage index parameter that is there on $sessionstat and systat to get the amount of saving that is used by the storage indexes. On our next videos, we will try to make some demonstration about the various Xarata features we have discussed so far. And if you have any training request on the Xarata or the Oracle or MongoDB databases, please write to me at techdba@gmail.com. And as usual, like this video, share this video, and very important is subscribe to TechDBA. You can connect with me on the Facebook page TechDBA, and you can send your connection request on my LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you and have a nice day.